Elena stared at the grand old house as a shiver frosted the secret places inside her. The house, stately with 6 bedrooms, though certainly no mansion, was showing its age. Her knock went unanswered, so she tried the door handle. It resisted as if she were a stranger. There was much reacquainting to be done, she reflected, before slipping through the hedgerow to try the kitchen. Peering through the back window, she spied an elderly woman in a black high-collared dress standing at the counter. Tears threatened to spill at the sight of Grand-mère. But Elena quickly dried her lashes with her sleeve and tapped on the door. "You can leave the eggs on the step, Adela," the old woman said without looking up from her work. "The money is under the pot of geraniums." Elena opened the door a tentative crack. "You never used to encourage geraniums over the winter. You called them tedious." Ariella Gardin, grande dame of one of the oldest and most renowned vineyards in the Chanceaux Valley, turned in alarm, a pitcher of milk gripped in her hand. "Who's there?" "It's me." The pitcher shattered on the tile, splashing milk the length of the terracotta floor and soaking their shoes. Grand-mère squinted back as if she stared at an apparition. "It can't be." Skirting the puddle of spilled milk, she reached for Elena's hand. The old woman studied the lines of Elena's palm, breathed in the scent of her hair, and then rubbed thumb and fingers together in the space over her head to check for enchantments. "It really is you. I always knew you'd return someday." "How did you know when I scarcely knew myself?" Her mentor waved her inside and shut the door. "The all-knowing always favored you." "Has to be 7 years now." "Where have you been all this time?" 7 years. Her heart gave a little kick at the news. She'd never dreamed she'd spent 7 winters in that fetid pond, eating moths and slugs to survive. "It was a curse. I only just got free." Feeling safe for the first time in years, she described her ordeal, including how she'd held on to just enough of her wits to remember to eat the poison-laced skin every day and not gag it back up, even as the curse tried to swallow her memory of being human. A toad? Who could have done such a thing? Bastien? Who else? Bastien? The old woman's mouth fell open. "But you were going to be married. You were going to—" "We had a fight." Elena's face flushed with shame. "Once he slipped the ring on my finger, he made demands." "Demands?" Elena buried her face in her hands. "He said as his wife I'd be obligated to serve him, that it wasn't my place to refuse." "Marriage is always a compromise. Often more for the woman, I admit, but he understood nothing about me. He knew I was a vine witch, that I had obligations of my own to uphold, that I couldn't just fulfill his every whim. I'd finally mastered my first exceptional vintage, and he expected me to set all that aside to serve his dreams. The ambition and greed in that man. How could I have been so wrong about him?" Grand-mère shrugged diplomatically. "He always did have grand plans. I told him I'd rather be a happy spinster than his miserable wife, and threw his ring back at him." Grand-mère bent her ear forward as if she hadn't heard correctly. "You broke off the engagement?" "I had no choice," she said, reaching for the glass of wine. "He doesn't like being told no, even when he's wrong. And he cannot abide being made to look like a fool. Not by a woman. I'm convinced it's why he paid some fly-by-night fae to spellbind me and keep me silent. He must have. That no cost me everything.